Fox 66 News with Brian Wilk, meteorologist Craig Flint, and Mike Finner with sports. You're watching Fox 66 News first at 10.
A total loss. Dozens of crews across Warren County rushed to the scene of a barn engulfed in flames Sunday. Good evening, I'm Brian Wilk. We'll have that story coming up. First tonight, a team of doctors at Walter Reed expressing optimism about President Trump's treatment, saying his coronavirus symptoms have improved significantly since Friday. They add that he is continuing his treatment on remdesivir. Fox News correspondent Mike Emanuel has continuing coverage tonight.
The patient continues to improve. He has remained without fever since Friday morning.
President Trump's medical team providing an update on his condition following his testing positive and hospitalization for the coronavirus. During a news conference at Walter Reed Medical Center Sunday, doctors said the president has completed his second dose of remdesivir without any side effects.
Our hope is that we can plan for a discharge as early as tomorrow to the White House, where he can continue his treatment course.
The White House releasing images of the president showing the commander-in-chief working from his presidential suite at the military hospital. The pictures coming after President Trump shared an update on his condition Saturday night. The president addressing the American people in a video from the medical facility, saying he is feeling better and thinks he will be back soon.
We're going to beat this coronavirus, or whatever you want to call it.
Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden proceeding with some campaign events as usual, despite growing concerns about the former VP contracting coronavirus after sharing the debate stage with President Trump. Mr. Biden wrapping up a virtual town hall on Saturday where he zoomed members of the largest labor union representing transit workers and tiptoed around questions asking him about President Trump's record on COVID.
I don't want to be attacking the president and the first lady now, because they're now have contracted coronavirus.
The positive coronavirus tests of some of his closest advisors and allies keep piling up as it appears President Trump may be on the path to recovery. Outside the Walter Reed Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland, Mike Emanuel, Fox 66 News.
And new tonight, President Trump thanked the staff of Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. He took a surprise ride outside the complex to show his gratitude to his loyal supporters. The chief executive also expressed his gratitude to the medical professionals at Walter Reed.
We're getting great reports from the doctors. This is an incredible hospital, Walter Reed. The work they do is just absolutely amazing, and I want to thank them all, the nurses, the doctors, everybody here.
Erie County Executive Kathy DAHLKEMPER is weighing in on President Trump's COVID-19 diagnosis. The county executive tells us she's concerned about the president and his health after being admitted into Walter Reed Medical Center. Now, DAHLKEMPER believes that he'll recover quickly with top care professionals. As the pandemic continues to take a toll across the country, the county executive says the community still needs to do their part.
The president wasn't a real fan of wearing masks, but I know that science has continued to tell us masks do work. And so I hope that this maybe is just another reminder to people of how important it is to wear a mask.
And DAHLKEMPER tells us Erie County residents are continuing to do a great job protecting themselves and others from COVID-19. To weather now, meteorologist Craig Flint has your Fox First forecast. Hey, Craig.
Good evening, Brian. Good evening, everybody. The only protection you'll need tonight is the umbrella, as we do have some wet weather that continues to move through. Live look right now. The U.S. Netting Cam downtown live in State Street. You can see the reflection there off the pavement as we have this little band of showers that continues to press through the region. And what we're going to be watching for late tonight is maybe an additional shower to develop off Lake Erie. But you can see some rain coming into Erie County, Crawford. Those yellows and oranges that you see there, something a little steadier. This will move by. Winds will shift northwest, so again, maybe a little bit of a lake effect rain shower as we head towards the pre-dawn hours. 53 right now with a south-southwest wind at 5, which will shift to the northwest. And then we end up somewhere around 50-ish by the time you wake up tomorrow. Maybe an early shower and then more sun developing as we head through the afternoon. We'll talk about the rest of the forecast, which does feature a fall warm-up. Details on that in just a few minutes. Brian, over to you.
Thanks, Craig. Nearly a dozen fire companies were called to a Warren County barn fully engulfed in flames. It's new tonight at 10 o'clock. The first calls came in around 3 Sunday afternoon on Rowley Road in Sugar Grove. According to investigators, a fire started inside a milk barn and the flames spread rapidly after an explosion inside the barn. The fire spread to surrounding barns and structures. Several animals were injured and a dog did die in the fire. Witnesses say the explosion was so violent that it could be heard or felt for miles. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. And Fox 66 News is your local election headquarters. According to multiple sources, U.S. Senator Pat Toomey will not seek re-election in 2022. Toomey is expected to make that announcement during a news conference on Monday morning. He will also not run for Pennsylvania governor in 2022. Now, that's according to a source with direct knowledge of the plans. The announcement is set for 10 a.m. Monday morning in Bethlehem, PA. Now, a spokesperson for the senator's office declined to make any comments. For all your election news anytime, head to our website, yourerie.com. Today, the State Department of Health issued a two-day total of the latest COVID-19 numbers. The Health Department reporting 40 new cases over Saturday and today. The total number stands at 1,643. The State Department of Health reports 2,251 new COVID cases over this period. This brings the statewide total to over 163,000. There were 17 new deaths, bringing that total to 8,216. Crawford County reporting 324 cases today. That's an increase of 3. Warren County is up 1 to 45 cases. Chautauqua County reports 675 cases, and Ashtabula County, Ohio is reporting 673 cases. A remembrance ceremony held in the nation's capital for victims of the pandemic. The group COVID Survivors for Change organizing the tribute Sunday to the more than 200,000 lives lost. Americans who have lost loved ones to share their stories on COVID in the hopes that it will push others to take the virus seriously.
I want people to understand that this can happen to anyone. This can happen to your loved one, yourself, a family member, someone that you care about, or even just a stranger on the street.
And organizers behind the tribute are inviting anyone who's lost a loved one to the virus to share their name on a wall of remembrance at nationalcovidremembrance.org. One of the last festivals this season is coming to an end at St. Joseph's Church. Star Bodie tells us the 14th annual Oktoberfest is bringing the community together as the pandemic continues.
The 14th annual Oktoberfest is one of the last festivals adapting to COVID-19 changes.
It's been different. I don't want to do this ever again like this. We like to have all the people here having a fine time, dancing, singing, all the vendors. It's the best way to go because it really brings people together.
This festival took months to plan as the Commonwealth continues to adjust to precautions. Usually you can smell the sauerkraut balls cooking outside and German music playing, but that isn't stopping parishioners. The festival is giving the community options to stop by or pick up their food through a drive-through. One parishioner says a little support goes a long way.
To do something for fundraising. In addition, just to get out of the house to do something, I think is important to help out and for your mind, your body, your soul, so to speak.
Oktoberfest chairs say while this is the last ethnic festival of the year, they say it's humbling seeing that the community continues to show their support during these tough times. That's after seeing how nearby parishes modified their fundraising events.
It has been a community effort to try to help all of the area festivals to come up with how do we make these happen.
Star Bodie, Fox 66 News.
Businesses across the county are doing what they can to continue supporting Johnny HEUBEL. On Monday, October 12th, Buffalo Wild Wings off of Interchange Road will donate 23% of all proceeds from dine-in or takeout orders to help with Johnny's recovery costs. The McDowell senior football player is suffering a brain injury from a football game against Cathedral Prep. And coming up on Fox 66, In the line of fire, the Myrtle Beach Police Department mourning after one of their officers is killed Saturday night. Plus, staying afloat, we'll tell you how the Erie community is lending a helping hand to support the Brig Niagara's future. And jumping for joy, folks passing along one Arizona street get a warm welcome from man's best friend.